His name is not important. What is important is the number, 35 years. 35 years of standing on the casino floor of Las Vegas Strip properties, watching every shift from every angle, knowing where every camera pointed and every trick worked and every player got taken and every system was designed to ensure that the outcome was never in any meaningful doubt. 35 years of watching tourists sit down at blackjack tables with $1,000 and a good feeling and leave with nothing, not because they were unlucky in any pure sense, but because the environment they were sitting in had been engineered with a precision and an intentionality that they could not see and were never meant to see. 35 years of carrying that knowledge and doing his job and going home and coming back the next day and doing it again. And then one day, after 3.5 decades of watching the industry, he had devoted his professional life to transform from something he was proud of into something he was ashamed of. He sat down and he started talking. Not to his employer, not to a regulator, to the players, to the people who had been sitting across from the system he had helped operate for 35 years. He told them how it actually worked. He told them what was actually happening in the room while they thought they were gambling. He told them the things that every experienced floor manager knows and that no casino will ever put in its marketing materials or its welcome packet or its player's card enrollment form. He told them everything. And what he said is the subject of this video. My name is Florian, and what follows is what 35 years on the Las Vegas Strip actually looks like from the inside. The first thing he said, the thing he opened with because he considered it the single most important piece of information any casino visitor could have, was about the floor layout. Not the games, the layout. The physical geography of the casino floor, which most players experience as a vaguely disorienting maze that requires some effort to navigate, is not an accident. It is not the result of organic growth or practical necessity or any architectural consideration that has anything to do with the player's experience of being in the space. It is a deliberate, psychologically engineered environment that was designed from the ground up to disorient you, to slow your movement, to eliminate your awareness of time and distance, and to make exit feel psychologically harder than continued play. The slot machines are arranged in clusters rather than rows, specifically because clusters create the perception of activity and energy. When 6 machines are arranged in a circle or a pod, the sight lines from one machine include the screens of the surrounding machines, and the peripheral awareness of other people playing and the ambient sound of other machines paying creates a false social proof that the environment is active and rewarding. You are not just playing your machine. You are sitting in a room where machines are paying all around you, which your brain interprets as evidence that the environment is favorable. The arrangement is not about comfort, it is about perception management. The absence of windows and clocks is the most documented and most widely known feature of casino design, but he said the reason it matters is more specific than most people understand. It is not simply that you lose track of time in an abstract sense. The absence of natural light eliminates the most powerful environmental cue that regulates human circadian rhythm. When you cannot see daylight, your body's hormonal regulation of alertness and fatigue is disrupted. You do not feel the natural afternoon energy drop that would tell you it is 3 o'clock and you have been sitting for 4 hours. You do not feel the evening fatigue signal that would tell you it is 10 o'clock and your decision-making is compromised. The casino environment is designed to keep you in a state of persistent, undifferentiated alertness that prevents the natural physical signals that would otherwise tell you to stop. And the oxygen levels in the ventilation system of most major strip casinos are set slightly above normal atmospheric concentration. Not enough to be perceptible, enough to maintain alertness longer than the body would sustain it in a standard atmospheric environment. He spent 15 years as a floor manager before a facilities engineer casually mentioned the oxygen specification during a building systems review. He had known the effect was real. He had not known the mechanism until that conversation. The second thing he told players was about the slot machines, specifically about the number that is never displayed on any machine and is never communicated to any player in any format that the player could act on to make an informed decision. The return to player percentage. Every slot machine in Nevada is required by the Nevada Gaming Control Board to maintain a minimum return to player percentage of 75%. 75% means that for every dollar wagered on that machine, the machine will return a minimum of 75 cents over its operational lifetime. The operational lifetime caveat is the mechanism of the deception. The machine does not return 75 cents for every dollar you specifically put into it today. The 75% is calculated over the machine's entire operational history, which may span millions of spins across years of operation. On any individual session, on any individual day, the machine can return 0. It can also return 500%. The average over time, across the totality of all plays, by all players over the life of the machine, will be at least 75%. Your session is a sample of one within a distribution that is designed to eventually average out to a number that benefits the house. The 75% floor means the house keeps at least 25 cents of every dollar wagered over time. In practice, strip slot machines are configured well above the minimum, typically in the 85 to 92% range, because the competitive pressure of the market requires it. But the specific return percentage of the specific machine you are sitting at is proprietary information that the casino is not required to disclose and will not voluntarily disclose. You are playing a game whose fundamental odds are hidden from you. He said that if the return percentage were displayed on every machine the way the house edge is calculable on every table game, the slot floors would empty overnight. The information is withheld not because it is irrelevant, but because it is the most relevant piece of information available, and the industry cannot afford for players to act on it. The third thing he said was about comps. The complimentary system, the free rooms, and the free meals, and the free play that the casino offers to players in exchange for their action is described in casino marketing as a reward for loyalty. He described it as a precise, mathematically calibrated mechanism for maximizing the amount of time and money a player spends in the casino, presented as generosity to create an obligation of reciprocity that the player repays with extended play. The casino knows, to within a small margin, exactly what your action is worth to them. The player's card system tracks every bet you place, every machine you play, every hand you are dealt. It calculates your average bet, your session length, your hourly theoretical loss based on the house edge of the games you play, and it generates a theoretical win figure that represents what the casino expects to keep from your play over time. The comps you receive are calibrated as a percentage of that theoretical win figure. A casino that offers you a free room worth $150 is offering you something that costs them $60 in actual room cost and is worth, in their calculation, somewhere between $300 and $600 in theoretical win from the extended play that keeping you on the property overnight will generate. The comp is not a gift. It is an investment with a calculated expected return. He said that in 35 years, he had never seen a comp program that returned more value to the player than the casino expected to collect from the player in exchange for it. The comps always penciled out in favor of the house. Always. Because if they did not pencil out in favor of the house, they would not be offered. The fourth thing he told players was about the table game rules. Specifically about the changes that happened to the blackjack floor during his career that he considers the single most significant degradation of player value in the history of strip table games. When he started in the industry in the late 1980s, the standard blackjack table on the main floor of a major strip property offered a 3-2 payout on natural blackjack. The dealer stood on soft 17. Players could double down on any two cards, and the game was dealt from a single or double deck with regular shuffling. These rules, combined with basic strategy, produced a house edge of approximately 0.5%. 0.5%. That is a remarkably fair gamble by any standard. It means that for every $100 you wager using correct basic strategy, you can expect to lose approximately 50 cents over time. The entertainment value per dollar was extraordinary. He said the old 3-2 single deck game was genuinely close to an even proposition for a disciplined basic strategy player, and that the casino tolerated it because the volume of play it attracted from players who did not use basic strategy was sufficient to generate the margin the house needed. What replaced it? In his description, is a systematic program of rule degradation executed over roughly 15 years, beginning in the mid-2000s, that increased the house edge by 5 to 10 times on the main floor of virtually every major strip property. The 6-to-5 blackjack payout, which replaced 3-to-2 on most strip main floors, increased the house edge from 0.5% to approximately 1.4% on its own. The move from single and double deck games to 6 and 8 deck shoes further increased the house edge. The introduction of the continuous shuffling machine eliminated the card counting advantage that skilled players had historically been able to develop, and also subtly changed the psychological pacing of the game in ways that increased hands per hour rate and therefore the theoretical loss per hour for every player at the table. He described the cumulative effect of these rule changes as transforming blackjack from the fairest game in the casino into a game whose house edge approaches that of roulette while retaining the appearance of a skill game that rewards strategy. The player who learned blackjack in 1995 and returns to the strip in 2026 playing the same basic strategy against the current rule set is playing a fundamentally different game against a fundamentally different house edge, while believing they are exercising the same skill they developed 30 years ago. The felt looks the same, the cards look the same, the math is completely different. The fifth thing he said concerned the way the casino responds to winning players, not card counters, not professional gamblers employing sophisticated advantage play techniques. Ordinary recreational players who are running above expectation during a session. He spent considerable time on this because he said it is the most misunderstood and most consequential thing that ordinary players do not know about how casinos function. When you are winning at a casino, the casino knows you are winning in real time. The surveillance system tracks your chip stack. The pit boss tracks your chip stack. The floor manager, which is what he was for most of his career, tracks your chip stack. If you are winning significantly, if your chip count has exceeded a threshold that the casino's risk management parameters identify as a statistical outlier worth monitoring, a series of responses can be deployed that are entirely at the casino's discretion and that are never disclosed to the player. The dealer can be changed. This is the most common response and the most subtle. Changing the dealer changes the pace of the game, the shuffle timing, the energy at the table, and introduces a variable that can interrupt a winning streak not by changing the mathematical probabilities, which are fixed by the rules, but by changing the human dynamics that surround them. A new dealer is sometimes a new atmosphere, and a new atmosphere sometimes changes how a player plays. Second, the betting limits at your specific table can be adjusted. A floor manager can authorize a reduction in the maximum bet at a specific table mid-session without changing the posted limit on the table placard. The reduction is communicated verbally to the dealer. The player is informed only after they have placed a bet that exceeds the new limit, and the dealer must return the excess.